I am Harold Shipman, once a revered figure in the quaint tapestry of an English town, now known to the world as the Angel of Death. Let me guide you through the veiled corridors of my life, where the light of trust casts long, deceitful shadows. I was a healer, a confidant, a harbinger of death cloaked in the guise of a caregiver. Each morning, as I walked into my clinic, the scent of antiseptics welcomed me like an old friend, and I felt the power coursing through my veins. It was not the power to heal, though that was the mask I wore. It was the power to end life silently, efficiently, under the guise of mercy. My patients trusted me. They saw me as their savior, their doctor who would not harm them. Little did they know, I was the master of their fate, deciding who would live and who would not see tomorrow. It began subtly, a slight adjustment here, an extra dose there. My tools were simple, and the execution was flawless. Diamorphine, my silent partner in crime, lay hidden within the folds of my white coat, ready to dance its deadly waltz. One case always comes back to haunt me. Edith Morgan, a spry old lady with twinkling eyes, trusted me with her life. She had been my patient for years. Her ailments were nothing out of the ordinary for someone her age. One day, she came to me weary, complaining of pain she couldn't bear. I told her not to worry. I would take care of everything, and I did, just not how she expected. The day Edith Morgan died, the whisper started. It was an accident, I said, a tragic miscalculation. But the seed of doubt was planted. I could see it in their eyes, how they looked at me, and how their trust started to waver. I needed to be careful, but the thrill of the hunt, the godlike power over life and death, was too intoxicating. I was meticulous, but even the most thorough plans have flaws. Kathleen Grundy was different. She was sharp, her mind a steel trap clamped onto inconsistencies. I saw an opportunity when she came to me with her will, asking for advice. It was risky, but the potential reward for quieting her suspicions was too tempting to ignore. I forged her will, making myself a beneficiary, a foolproof plan, I thought. But every empire falls. Kathleen's death was the catalyst. Her daughter, a lawyer, smelled the stench of my deceit from miles away. She demanded an autopsy. I protested. Why defile the dead? But deep down, I knew the game was up. They found the diamorphine in her system, levels that screamed murder. The investigation spiraled faster than I could control. They exhumed other bodies and found more of my signatures written in the veins of the deceased. The trial was a spectacle, the community watching as their trusted doctor was unmasked as a monster. I sat in the dock, listening to the hammering of evidence, each striking a nail in my coffin. I tried to justify my actions and explain the mercy in my decisions. But the faces of the grieving families blurred into a sea of hatred. In prison, stripped of my power, I pondered the nature of my obsessions. Was I a killer disguised as a healer, or one who strayed too far from the path? The answer eluded me as much as those who tried to understand me. I am Harold Shipman. This is my confession, my legacy, written in the shadows of death. As you listen to my story, remember that the line between savior and slayer is thinner than you think. In the solitude of my cell, the night stretched on infinitely. Each tick of the clock a loud echo in the otherwise silent room. During these hours, my mind wandered back through the years, revisiting each face of each life I had taken. They haunted me, not out of remorse but as a catalog of my deeds, my life's work. Each had trusted me, looked to me for comfort and cure, and I had betrayed them all. I wondered, at times, if there was a moment when I could have turned back and chosen a different path. But the allure of control, of playing God, was too potent. It was an addiction, each case pushing me further into the abyss, each life taken, tightening the noose around my neck. One day, a young journalist came to visit me. She said she was writing a book about me, trying to understand why. Why had I done it? What drove me to such darkness? Her eyes were filled with fear and fascination as she sat across from me, her recorder between us like a silent witness to our conversation. "I don't expect you to understand," I told her, my voice a hoarse whisper from disuse. "It started as a duty to ease pain and help those suffering find peace, but it twisted into something dark and consuming somewhere along the way." She asked about remorse, about redemption. I laughed, a short, bitter sound. Remorse is for those who feel. I stopped feeling it long ago. All I have are the memories, the faces of those I chose to take. Redemption? There's no redemption for the angel of death. Over the years, I received countless letters. Some cursed me, others sought understanding, and others even admired me. I read each letter, absorbing their words, hatred, and confusion. They saw me as a monster, a fiend, cloaked in the garb of a doctor. And perhaps they were right, but I saw myself as an artist, my medium being life itself. One letter, however, stood out. It was from the daughter of one of my victims. She wrote not of hatred, but of sorrow, of the life her mother could have lived. Her words struck a chord, a flicker of something I hadn't felt in years. Was it guilt? Sorrow? I couldn't tell. It was gone as quickly as it came, but it left a lingering shadow, a crack in my carefully constructed armor. As my health began to fail, the reality of my mortality confronted me. I, who had decided the fate of so many, could not escape my end. The irony was not lost on me. I spent my last days in quiet reflection, the whispers of my past companions ever present. When the end came, it was as I had administered so many times before, quietly, without fanfare. They found me in my cell, lifeless, a final act of control in a life that had spiraled far beyond it. I leave behind a legacy of shadows, a tale that will be told in hushed tones and sensational headlines. They will analyze me and try to dissect my motives and methods, but they will never truly understand. How can you know a nightmare when you have only seen it in daylight? As you recount my story, remember that I was once trusted, once loved, and remember that beneath the surface of every ordinary life can lurk depths unimaginable. I was Harold Shipman, the angel of death. This was my story. If you enjoyed this story, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel for more spine-chilling tales. Don't forget to hit the bell icon to stay updated with our latest videos. I'd love to hear your thoughts, so leave a comment below and share your scary encounters. Also, consider joining the Fear Frequencies community for exclusive perks and early access to new content. Your support helps us create even more thrilling stories. And if you really enjoyed it, please consider leaving a